lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions.
The way that Terence Crawford being, to me, my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can be Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68.
Floyd Mayweather explained why he believes Terence Crawford will never beat Canelo Álvarez, pointing directly to the weight disadvantage. He emphasized that moving up several divisions isn't just about skill, it's about handling size, power, and endurance at the elite level. Canelo has spent his career battling naturally bigger opponents, while Crawford is stepping into unknown territory. Despite Crawford's technical brilliance, Mayweather insists the size difference will be too much to overcome, adding, "I can't just go up to 180 or 190 pounds and expect to win."
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
Trainer Robert Garcia echoed this concern, pointing out that Crawford's lack of experience at super middleweight makes the challenge even greater. While Crawford has looked brilliant in multiple divisions, Canelo has spent years perfecting his craft against bigger men. Garcia noted that Crawford's body has not fully adapted to the added weight, leaving him less explosive and less fluid. Against a seasoned champion like Canelo, that disadvantage could prove costly.
Jumping 2 divisions where he only had 1 fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that, and that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for 1 punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, Robert, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure, and hopefully be catching up sometime soon.
Thanks
appreciate
for coming.
it. Thank you
Very much.
Analyst Showbiz highlighted the enormous stakes of the Crawford-Canelo clash. He argued that if Crawford overcomes the size and power gap, his legacy would reach unprecedented heights, placing him firmly alongside Floyd Mayweather in the all-time great conversation. Such a victory would make Crawford the clear pound-for-pound king of his generation. However, Showbiz stressed that even this achievement wouldn't surpass Mayweather's legacy, pointing to Floyd's undefeated career and dominance across eras. Still, the opportunity for Crawford to enter such rare company makes the fight one of boxing's defining moments.
Time undisputed is insane. If you were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, I put whatever you got him, Terence Crawford is right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao over Floyd. So I know somebody's about to get moments, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, shit. Man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott, Barbados Joe, not Jersey, I'm Barbados. Like that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback to, I would have to assess that. 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, I still, because Cotto was weight drained. has Floyd done anything? Well, he beat Canelo.
Jeff Mayweather strongly pushed back on Canelo's recent claim that Crawford is better than Floyd. He suggested the comment was more about Canelo trying to elevate himself than about truth. By calling Crawford superior, Jeff argued, Canelo indirectly excuses his own lopsided loss to Floyd. While Jeff acknowledged Crawford's immense talent, he maintained that Floyd's undefeated record and dominance against elite opponents stand unmatched and that Crawford has far more to accomplish before any fair comparison can be made.
We remember, Canelo at that, that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had what a lot of people had as a draw, and then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So.
Yeah. What was Canelo? What? 20-something? 20 what? 23? 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but he. But
are you at the top of your career in your prime? You're in your prime. You're in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. And that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Make
himself look like he did something great.
Joel Diaz outright dismissed Crawford's chances, citing the overwhelming size difference. He reminded fans that Canelo has traded shots with heavy hitters like Gennady Golovkin, who possessed both power and durability. If Canelo could absorb Golovkin's punches, Diaz questioned how Crawford, who has mostly fought men closer to his natural size, could inflict serious damage. For Diaz, skills alone can't bridge that gap. He stressed that fighters often underestimate the toll of moving up until they feel the power of bigger men, and in this case, Canelo's strength is a mountain Crawford simply cannot climb.
Ask him who Skull is, they won't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is. But they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion in
the champion.
He's got the kind of the other stone that's out there that Canelo needs to connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's what I can tell you.
Then in September, if Canelo wins, he's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade?
Yes.
Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fought 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey on the cheek. It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
Debate over the ring size adds another layer of intrigue. Supporters of Crawford argue that a larger ring would let him use footwork and angles to outmaneuver Canelo. But analysts counter that Canelo has fought effectively in both small and large rings, adapting each time. While a bigger ring may slightly favor Crawford, most agree it won't erase the realities of Canelo's size and power. In the end, execution, not dimensions, will decide the outcome.
The biggest things in this Canelo-Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. If these guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring, you're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented, he's athletic, he has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset here. No matter the ring size, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant, he's that excellent. But I'm gonna tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt his odds. It's the same thing with 22 feet. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a pretty decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but it's still gonna hurt it. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, maneuver, slip, bob, weave, do whatever he wants. That's gonna give Canelo some issues. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey said it was gonna be at 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's gonna be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you place your bet.
Crawford's dominant win over Errol Spence gave fans confidence in his chances. That performance showcased his timing, adaptability, and ruthless finishing instincts. Yet analysts caution that Spence, while elite, is not a naturally bigger man like Canelo. They highlight fighters such as Israil Madrimov as examples of the larger opponents Crawford has yet to face. Meanwhile, Canelo has consistently fought men bigger than himself and still competed at the highest level. The concern remains whether Crawford's brilliance at welterweight will translate against a physically dominant super middleweight.
Hey y'all, the simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Y'all act like he just beat fucking Jesus or Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the best, second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. Y'all say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout. Canelo has gone up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68. And those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov because he's his size. So you think he's gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granite chin. I don't know if y'all know the Canelo. The only people who's saying that Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casuals. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since the Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight, because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas didn't even see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just synced it and y'all running with it. Cut it.
Gabe Rosado reflected on Canelo's loss to Mayweather, calling it a pivotal lesson. At the time, Canelo was still developing and lacked the experience to deal with Floyd's defensive mastery. That humbling defeat, Rosado argued, shaped Canelo into the champion he is today. Since then, Canelo has refined his technique, grown in confidence, and learned how to handle a variety of styles. Rosado believes this matured, battle-tested version of Canelo poses a far greater challenge than the young fighter who lost to Floyd, and it's that version Crawford must now face.
Be too soon for Xander, but who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Canelo needed more seasoning when he fought Floyd, or do you think that Floyd just got his number? Period.
Yeah, I think he was very inexperienced when he fought Floyd. You know, he's a different fighter, but see, everybody's different. That fight is what made Canelo become the fighter that he is today. So, you know, that's why boxing, man, is like when they shame guys for losses, it's like, man, you just got to really see how a fighter bounces back from a loss. It's like, because, you know, when Canelo lost to Floyd, there was a lot of things that Canelo learned in that fight that he added to his game. Next thing you know, Canelo started moving his head, and his counters got better, and his speed, and he understood timing. He understood how to, like, break guys down differently because he learned that off Floyd. So I think it was a good learning experience for Canelo, and then, you know, I think that kind of fight is gonna help him in the Crawford fight.
Sebastian Fundora warned that Crawford may not fully grasp the toll this fight could take. Competing at super middleweight isn't just about physical preparation, it requires long-term adaptation, something Canelo has mastered after years in the division. Canelo has consistently endured the grind of fighting larger men, while Crawford is stepping into the weight class for the first time. Fundora suggested the aftermath might expose just how much the move-up drained Crawford physically and mentally.
Could be.
Could be. We'll see. We'll see what PBC has for us.
Your favorite, Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo. Canelo, yeah.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo being Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter, but to be comfortable at 168, you're gonna have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's gonna take a toll.
What about Ennis? He's the new addition to 154. He's yet to fight there. Canelo brought him in camp specifically because he's a switch hitter like Terence Crawford. What do you make of Ennis just not being in your division and then him contributing to Canelo's camp heading into this fight? Is that a good move?
I think it's good for Canelo's camp to have a fighter like Ennis. Because, yeah, he likes to switch, right-handed, southpaw. I think Canelo probably didn't need that. But, you know, the fact that Ennis went might cause a little bit of drama. I think he did for a dramatic effect. But, you know, great fighter at 147, but 154 is a different division. They have me in there, so we'll see what he would.
Critics often debate the entertainment value of Crawford's style compared to Canelo's. While Crawford is technically brilliant, some argue his fights lack the drama that captivates casual fans. Canelo, by contrast, has built his reputation on high-stakes battles, knockouts, and body-punching showcases. Analysts argue that even if Crawford defeats Canelo, he won't automatically become the face of boxing. To truly claim that mantle, he'd need to take on other dangerous names like Dimitri Bivol and prove himself against even bigger opposition. Only then could he command the same global spotlight Canelo enjoys.
You know, the closer you get, the more outlandish these statements were. We had one outlandish one that his fighting style is not entertaining. Right? Canelo's fighting style is more entertaining than Terence Crawford's. I don't know what lens you're looking through, right? Well, why isn't Terence Crawford's fighting style entertaining? So that's one thing. Well, here's the next one. Now, check this out. They're saying that Terence Crawford won't even be great if he were to defeat Canelo Álvarez. He won't be great if he defeats Canelo Álvarez because all the stuff he's done until now, becoming two-division undisputed, beating a lot of undefeated fighters and a lot of fighters with one loss, seems to not be anything. But even beating Canelo Álvarez, the face of boxing, four-division champion, undisputed super middleweight champion, none of that would matter because they list fighters that he would have to beat to become great. And most of them are fighters that four-division champ, Canelo Álvarez, that he won't fight. He would have to beat Artur Beterbiev, right? Canelo ain't fighting him. He would have to beat Dimitri Bivol, who Canelo won't fight again, definitely at 168 pounds, because he wants to fight him at 175, because he wants to have the excuse that that weight could be too big for him. Dimitri Bivol wants to fight Canelo Álvarez at 168, so he can become two-division undisputed. Canelo doesn't want that. But Crawford has to beat that guy, right? Crawford has to beat David Benavidez as well, right? We know Canelo doesn't want to fight him, but Crawford has to beat him to become great, right? Remember, Canelo's great already. Then he would have to fight David Morrell.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more.